All right, excellent. We'll have a few more people trickling in from the other session and throughout the rest of the hour, but we might as well just get started, given that we have such excellent guests, and I can't wait to hear about all of their exciting and powerful initiatives that they have to tell us about. So, hello everyone, formally welcome to our PGS Summit 2022 Project Showcase, session number 1. Thank you all of our guests for joining us, and an extra special thank you to our guest speakers for sharing their time with us. My name is Diego, and I'm a member of PGS Talks, and I will be your facilitator for this session. So the purpose of this session is to discover, to showcase, and to commend examples of impactful student organizations throughout Oceania, Asia, and the Middle East. We will hear from 4 students that you can see on the screen who demonstrate just how much of a positive influence our students can actually have in the world. After hearing from each of our leaders, we will come together and reflect on the value of global student cooperation and what that can bring to local actions and student organizations around the world. So the session will run as follows. First, I will invite each of our esteemed guests to introduce themselves and the work of their student organizations. Each leader will have approximately 8 minutes to present their piece. Once each of our guests has had the opportunity to introduce themselves, I will bring us together for an open discussion on global student cooperation towards the end of the session. We'll be asking a few questions, and if time permits, we'll also actually take questions from the audience, so you can filter those through as you go as well. Our esteemed guest speakers for today are Eman AlHajji, the founder of Saudi Youth for Sustainability, Nathan Lee, the president of Enactus Melbourne, Toshiyuki Sassa from Unite at Tokyo University, and Zinan, the project manager of Green Light Here. Thank you all very much for coming, and I look forward to being your moderator today. Now, without further ado, please let me introduce Eman AlHajji. Eman M. AlHajji, the founder of Saudi Youth for Sustainability, a national organization aspiring to empower young Saudi leaders to drive change towards sustainable development. Previously, she served as the founding president of the KAUST Students for Sustainability, which became the most active student society on that campus. She is currently a PhD candidate innovating nanocarbon materials for energy storage at King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. She is an alumnus of the KAUST Gifted Student Program and Grand Challenge Fellows Program of the US National Academy of Engineering. Recently, she has been selected as a Young Changemaker for the 2021 MEM Summit in Switzerland and a speaker of the Youth Green Summit in Riyadh, in a panel discussion with HRH Prince Abdullah bin Salman, Minister of Energy, titled Taking the Initiative, Youth Leading Climate Action. She was highlighted in the UNESCO report of youth actions towards climate emergency, and was selected to participate at CAMP 2030. She's perceived as a strong strategic thinker, activator, and cross-cultural communicator. Eman, welcome. The floor is yours. Please feel free to share your screen.
Thank you so much, Diego. It was so lovely to get invited and meet other amazing people, and to meet also students and professionals from all around the world. So I'm gonna share my screen now. Let's see the tab. Can you, okay. Here we go. So, as introduced, I'm a PhD student here at KAUST. KAUST has a high percentage of international students, so we have more than 110 nationalities in one campus, and we live actually on campus. So it's great to see all kind of different diverse background of audience here. So let me tell you a little bit about Saudi Youth for Sustainability. As you heard in the introduction, we're a youth-led national organization to connect and empower young leaders to drive positive changes, because we believe in the tremendous potential and opportunity of youth, and together we can make a huge difference. So let me tell you a little bit about our logo and our story. So you see here on the right that we believe that true sustainability is within the intersection of society, economy, and the biosphere. And we need to assure all these different parameters are optimized, and we live in a prosperity and in a very balanced way. So yellow is for youth and community, and blue is for Saudi economy, and green is for the environment. And we have four main missions in our initiative is to create seeds of sustainability organizations in other Saudi universities and empower youth to lead bottom-up changes. And we also want to promote national and international networking of young change makers in the kingdom to scale these sustainable solutions. We want to advance and disseminate best practices of youth sustainability initiatives and foster knowledge sharing. So this initiative was launched very recently, back in November last year, but we have worked on it for the past 3 years, actually. So some of the anticipated outcomes are to build an online hub for youth engagement, with initiate joint efforts for sustainability solutions in campus, and hold collaborative events and initiatives like sustainability seminar series, tours, weeks of awarenesses, and so on, and host an annual gathering of youth-led sustainability to empower, cultivate, and celebrate achievements. So this story basically started, as I told you, back in 2019 with a very self-driven and passionate group of students, and you can see very diverse, and most of them are PhDs and professors and graduate students. This is our executive board. You can also see that it's also diverse, although we're targeting national, like more like Saudis, but we believe in diversity and inclusion, and this is one part of sustainability as well, because we want to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Very distinguished advisory board from all over the kingdom to increase this national support from different backgrounds. We also want to position ourselves to help others with national and international recognition and collaboration. And so currently we're fully sponsored and funded by King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. And in the future, we aspire to, we've been already in contact with SDSN Youth, which is a network by the United Nations. But we need to be 1 year old to be confirmed a spot there. We're not still 1 year old, like this second initiative. So what we aspire to have is a passionate society that will take the foundation to be recognized nationally and internationally, and explore different theories of change making, sharpen the leadership skills, and so on, present in high level national, international events. In Saudi Arabia, we still, the international stage of involving youth is not mature, and we want to make sure that we bring this intergenerational dialogues in the space, because youth will be the most affected, and other things that will benefit youth. So we have different kind of memberships: young change makers, local groups, and impact supporters are these professionals who would love to support young change makers. So I'm gonna just quickly go over the programs that we have. So young leaders, SYS annual conference, which is gonna happen next week. We're super excited. Sustainable creativity, active citizen workshop, and so on, and then a national debate coming up soon. So I'd love to highlight, just being mindful of the time, some events that we've done and what we're trying to do. So this conference gonna happen next week. We target about, and the theme is thriving together, because we believe that together we can make more impact. So we received over 1,050 applicants. We accepted about 450, and from all over the kingdom, with different professionals, rules, and so on, from all like rural areas, small villages, and so on, and big cities. So it's going to be a very nice homogeneous mix of the Saudi society. And we have about 50 volunteers and 40 high-profile speakers, and some of them are like, I don't know if you've heard of Vision 2030. Some of them are CEOs of Vision 2030 programs, to bridge this dialogue between policymakers and young leaders. Other in economy, so definitely we're trying to be as well holistic. So we're tackling economy, personal stories as well, and other like hands-on workshops with distinguished professors from KAUST. And we have partnered with other programs and workshops. And I just wanted to lastly mention that together, we're together, and the future is our future. And I would love to invite you to our website as swayas.kaust.edu.sa, and would love to hear your comments and connect with you. And definitely we're here from local to regional to global. We have only one planet, planet Earth. So we're here for it together. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eman. I particularly love the way that your organization recognizes that interrelationship between society, the economy, and the environment, because like the Sustainable Development Goals do, they recognize that they are completely interrelated and you can't really have one without the other. So thank you. I look forward to asking you a couple of questions later on in the session. Now, please let me introduce Nathan Lee. So Nathan is a third-year Bachelor of Commerce student at the University of Melbourne, hailing from Darwin in the Northern Territory. He has internship experience at BDO, Deloitte, and Pelican, an Australian fintech startup. However, he found his passion lies in social entrepreneurship and has a strong desire to create equal opportunities for underserved communities. He is currently serving a term as president of Enactus Melbourne, a student society revolving around entrepreneurship and social impact, and aims to educate and inspire others to incite meaningful change. He is the director of two social impact startups, the first one called Stint, a Slack community and job board exclusively to help international students in Australia, helping give them a fair chance at a future in Australia. Stint is helping ease the difficulty in finding jobs that international students are eligible for due to their visa status and their lack of knowledge surrounding the Australian working environment. They already have over 160 members in their Slack community and 30 jobs on their job board. The second one, called Enactus Maps, is an app built specifically to help users of mobility aids find accessible restaurants. Think Google Maps, but with a focus on accessibility rather than navigation. This app is designed to illustrate the accessibility of restaurants across Australia by collating the experiences of mobility aid users and already has over 100 reviews. Nathan, thank you for joining us, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Diego. Thank you everyone for having me. It's an honor to be invited to such a prestigious event. But yes, thank you for the introduction again. And hi, I'm Nathan from Enactus Melbourne. Let me quickly talk about what Enactus is. So Enactus is actually the world's largest experiential learning platform dedicated to creating a better world while developing the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders and social innovators. So Enactus itself is a global organization and is present in a lot of universities around the world. And me particularly, I'm from the University of Melbourne chapter. But essentially what Enactus is, our mission is to engage the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders to use innovation and business principles to improve the world. It is our vision to create a better, more sustainable world. And our impact is there are 72,000 students, 1,730 campuses, and we impact 1.3 million lives collectively each year. And yes, I'm from the University of Melbourne branch, and basically we're a group of 70 students across different degrees, diverse backgrounds, and areas of expertise, united by our passion for social impact. So what we do is we essentially create our very own social impact startups. I'll get into those later. We are 100% nonprofit and student run, and each of our projects improves and transforms lives. These are our three projects, the ones that I'll be discussing today. I'd like to first start with Cards for a Cause. So the problem that we identified was that over 180,000 students in the state of Victoria in Australia face financial hardship. Yearly travel concession pass costs around $800. Therefore, travel has become an active barrier to learning for students, especially living in rural areas to get to and from school. It's very expensive. So we actually found that a lot of students weren't attending classes because of this, and we sought to find a solution for this problem. That's why we created Cards for a Cause. So Cards for a Cause solves numbers 4 and 10 in the UN SDGs. And what we do is we sell customizable stickers for our transport cards, and we use all the profits generated to host career development programs, as well as buy marquee passes for these disadvantaged students that live in rural areas. So marquee passes is like transport passes, so they can get to and from school without, being burdened by the financial cost. So essentially what we've done is turned, a very blank transport card into a symbol of social change, because each purchase of our stickers represents another person taking a stand against the inequalities persistent within the education system. And by doing that, we are removing material barriers so that students can get to and from school without having to worry about the costs associated with that. And essentially what we want to do overall is just empower students, which is why we do like mentoring programs and other various career development programs to give them that holistic experience that school won't necessarily provide them with. And gratefully, we've been able to involve 300 students in our career development programs, and also purchase these transport passes for over 150 disadvantaged students. The second problem that we identified was that there were 734,000 mobility aid users in Australia. So that's users of like wheelchairs, and 97% of those expressed difficulty in simply finding an accessible restaurant. And that's crazy to think about, because, going to a restaurant, going out to eat with friends is something that a lot of us take for granted. But for users of mobility aids, we found that there was just this lack of transparency that hindered them from, enjoying a night out with friends at a restaurant. So what we did was we sought to improve transparency of, the accessibility of restaurants, because you have sites like Google Maps, TripAdvisor, Zomato, like, yes, they provide reviews on restaurants, but what they do is simply say, yes, this restaurant is accessible. No, this restaurant isn't accessible. They don't provide information beyond that. So we really found that was an issue. So as Diego mentioned in my introduction, we created an app similar to Google Maps, but with a focus on accessibility rather than navigation. So we encourage our community of users to go to restaurants and review the accessibility. That includes, is there steps to the restaurant? Is there enough space under the table for them to fit their wheelchair? So we go into a lot more detail than, say, other sites go. And this has allowed, users of mobility aids to go out and enjoy and find restaurants that are actually truly accessible. So we've been able to review the accessibility of over 110 restaurants in Australia, and provide a new view to what being truly accessible is about. And essentially, we just want to empower the wheelchair user community as a whole, because 93% of them are actually getting inaccurate information from restaurants. And it is a very stressful and time-consuming process, because they have to, call the restaurant, and the restaurant isn't able to create, provide accurate information. So that's something we've sought to solve by, creating an app. And lastly, our last project is solving the issue for 420,000 international students studying in Australia. So we found that 73% of them noted that the biggest difficulty came from the lack of jobs that they're actually eligible for. International students are heavily disadvantaged in the job market, and there is a lack of support. Additionally, 70% of them expressed a lack of knowledge surrounding cover letters, resumes, and interviews, something that, we also take for granted, but coming from a completely different country, everything is super foreign to them, and they lack the support systems to, navigate their way through the Australian job market. So what we did at Enactus Melbourne is we created a platform for international students that includes a Slack community. So we've been able to get 165 members on our Slack community. So these are all international students who we're supporting through providing them resources, answering any questions they have. And we're essentially the go-to place for international students who come to Australia to study but aren't given a fair chance at a future working here in Australia. We also have a job board that lists jobs that international students are actually eligible for, rather than having them trawl through LinkedIn or Seek trying to find jobs that international students can actually apply for, because surprisingly, international students aren't eligible for a lot of jobs that domestic students are. So it is a very disempowering, and they feel very discouraged and lonely in this process when trying to find a job in Australia. So that's something that we've actively sought to solve. and we're providing them with access to relevant jobs, a supportive community. And ultimately, we want to become a movement that raises awareness for foreign talents because, international students, they shouldn't be disadvantaged in the job market. They should be treated equally. And that's all we want at the end of the day. So we want to show Australian employers that, yes, we have all these international students here. Like, why aren't you hiring them? Because there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding hiring foreign talents. So we really want to clear that up and make sure we foster really good understanding amongst Australian employers about students' working rights, so that international students can get a fair chance working here in Australia. And we look to solve UN SDG number 4 with that one. So thanks everyone for listening to me. These are QR codes to all our projects as well as Enactus Melbourne. If you'd like to learn more, thank you so much for hearing about my projects, and look forward to hearing from the rest of the other speakers.
Awesome, thank you, Nathan. It's really, really encouraging to see that Enactus has identified problems and gaps in the way that things are provided in Melbourne specifically, and actively gone to fix those with discrete solutions. So that's, I think, a really, really good example of actual impact. So I'm proud to be a University of Melbourne student with you. Thank you very much for that once again. Now on to our next speaker, Toshiyuki Sassa. So Toshiyuki is currently a third-year student at the University of Tokyo and majors in international relations. He is a member of the Empower project, which aims to spread the idea coming out by supporters using Magenta Star. Recently, he was involved in planning and organizing a special preview event for the True Colors Film Festival in collaboration with the Nippon Foundation. His interest is in global migration and refugee issues. His hobby is watching musical movies / dramas and listening to K-pop. He currently lives in Tokyo. Toshiyuki, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Diego, thank you very much for introducing me. And I'm going to share my screen. I hope you can hear me now and see my screen. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Toshiyuki Sassa. I am a director of the Empower project and a junior student at the University of Tokyo, Japan. It is my greatest honor to take part in this very special event today. Today, I'd like to mainly introduce the Empower project. Our organization, Unite, is a student-led organization at the University of Tokyo, which takes action to achieve the UN priorities such as SDGs, and to promote youth ideas and perspectives into the global agenda and actions through art and culture. Currently, Unite has nearly 60 members. I will start off my presentation with the Voice of Youth Japan. The Voice of Youth Japan is an online platform managed by youth in partnership with UNICEF, launched in 2018. The Voice of Youth is where voices, the blog posts, including essays, illustrations, and photos from various youth with different backgrounds gather, with special attention to highlighting safety and reaching out to unheard voices, including those of silent majority, as well as the minority. This is because while the internet and social media opened up opportunities to express individual opinions, only big voices or voices from majority groups tend to be highlighted. There, many youth still hesitate to raise their voices as they fear negative consequences. Unite members lead the collecting and proofreading of the voices, as well as its promotion through social media and organizing both online and offline events for the youth in Japan. Now, let me introduce the Empower project. The Empower project aims to make everyone be a supporter using this Magenta Star logo, through which anyone can show his or her willingness to support others. We call this process coming out by supporters. Magenta Star has various symbolic meanings. The color derives from the color of SDGs goal number 10, reduce inequality within and among countries. The star is used in national flags of more than 60 countries beyond cultures, including some African countries, countries in the Americas, Asia, the European Union, many Islamic countries, island states, and others, and easy to recognize by anyone. Heptadecagone represents the number of goals in the SDGs. In Japan, we tend to rely on actions and expressions from those who need support, such as pregnant women, persons with disabilities, and so on. But this project gives an opposite approach, the coming out by supporters. If you want to show your willingness to support, all you need to do is to put on the magenta star. At the same time, if you need support, all you need is to ask people wearing this badge for support. This is the unique aspect of our project. Coming out by supporters through the magenta star can be helpful for those who do not hope to disclose their identity or conditions, and those who have invisible conditions, such as persons with mental health issues. In addition, it will also be helpful for those who want to offer support, but wondering how to express their willingness. Therefore, magenta star is useful for both those who is looking for support and those who to support them. The EMPA project is based on the social model adopted in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Persons with Disabilities in 2006, which understands disability as a result of social barriers due to lack of reasonable accommodation and exclusion, and not individual characteristics or medical conditions. To promote and protect the rights of persons with disabilities and other marginalized persons, such as women, children, elderly persons, migrants, and others, we need efforts by everyone who are part of the society to get rid of physical, psychological, and social barriers. The EMPA project is innovative in its focus on the needs of individuals instead of categorizing people based on their attributions, as I have talked about so far. Anyone can be in need of support when they are not feeling well or being in a falling town. Likewise, anyone can become a supporter. Then, how do we use this magenta star? It is extremely simple. Just put on your magenta star when you feel you can support others. Then, those who are looking for support will find you through magenta star and ask for your support. So provide the requested support if you can in a respectful manner. No worries if needs are beyond your capacity. You can just link with someone who might be able to support them. Like you can see on the photo, you can express your willingness in a cool and a fashionable way. Now, let me talk about the presence and the impact of our actions. Our project has been presented as one of the best practices at UN conferences, awarded SDGs Action Award in Japan, and promoted in various countries and communities, including the Philippines. We work not only with the international organizations and government, but also with local communities and schools. In addition, the EMPA project collaborates with private sectors, including Pierre et Home Japan, Microsoft, PwC, Samantha Tabasa, etc. In January 2022, Unite co-organized a special preview show of the film Coda with a talk session as a part of the True Colors Festival, together with the Nippon Foundation. The film later won the Oscar this March. In April, we opened a new pop-up store at Tokyo Haneda Airport in collaboration with Samantha Global. We sold special goods appealing for peace. As you can see, the EMPA project continues to extend. By promoting this project, we aim to switch our view to see differences as benefit rather than a threat. In short, we do not need to fear differences, but should appreciate them. Because of the differences, we can support each other. Thank you for your attention. ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much for that, Toshiyuki. I'm really looking forward to getting your thoughts on some of the questions we have later on today. And I think that it's incredible that you're targeting SDG 10, reduced inequalities, which I think is oftentimes one that might get a little bit left behind because there are so many other, maybe more pressing issues with the environment and so on. But we'll get to questions later. So thank you once again. Now, last but certainly not least, please allow me to introduce Zinan Yue. So Zinan Yue is a senior student from Xi'an Jiaotong-Liverpool University in China, majoring in information management and information systems. She's currently the project manager for projects targeting the hard of hearing in Green Light Year, which is an NGO committed to sustainable development education. Her passion is for social inclusion, originated from her experience as a sighted guide to help visually impaired people to run. She won the grand prize at the 2021 Education Forum for Asia Annual Conference Youth Speech Competition with her study on the analysis of the current situation of the accessibility system in China. In addition, she has just been selected as a finalist for the World Bank Youth Summit Pitch Competition, 6 out of 1,000 plus applications. As a running enthusiast who has completed 10 half marathons, over 10 half marathons, she firmly believes that every step she runs makes sense and she can empower more people to run equally in a more inclusive society. She will pursue a master's degree in MPA later for further research on social inclusion from the perspective of public administration. Zinan, please, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thanks for your introduction. I will share my screen now. Okay, can you see it? Okay, I will start. Hi, everyone. I am Zinan Yue, a senior student from Xi'an Jiaotong-Liverpool University in China, and it's my great honor to be here and share our PBL project with you. Firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. I am a crazy running fan, and I have completed more than 10 half marathons. I think the meaning of running lies in every step I ran, every single goal I set, and every scenery I encountered. All of this will finally lead me to where my heart belongs. It turns out that this is true. In my experience as a sighted guide to help the visually impaired people to run, I started to focus on the people with disabilities, and then conducted my study related to accessibility. Luckily, I won the grand prize at the 2021 Education Forum for Asia Annual Conference Youth Speech Competition. And now I am working at Green Light Year as a project manager. This is an NGO in China committed to sustainable development education. I was looking forward to a platform that is full of passion and out to change the world, because I am too. So I joined the Green Light Year with my knowledge and ideas as a project manager. Today, I will mainly introduce one project I am leading now. Firstly, I'd like to ask you a question. When you walk in a crowd, have you ever noticed that the people around you may not hear the sound? There is such a group of people who are obstructed by an invisible wall, losing the opportunity to communicate effectively with the outside world. The population of these people is large, with about 430 million hard of hearing people in the world, and in my country, the number is 27.8 million. And this young man named Sheng Chuanshi is part of this huge number. He lost his hearing at the age of 11, but he didn't give up. He can communicate with others and pursue his own dreams with practice and support. To let the people like him participate in society without barriers, he founded the Boy Book at the age of 24, and his efforts have paid off. Boy Book has provided accessibility solutions to more than 10 government agencies and more than 60 special education schools in 1 year in China. In addition, its app has also served more than 1 million hard of hearing users. However, he doesn't want to stop there and plans plans to establish a nonprofit organization in order to apply its existing resources to more public service projects. And I, as one volunteer in Green Light Year, was inspired by him and decided to collaborate with him. Overall, our PBL project aims to engage young people from different backgrounds to conduct research on the key problems faced by the hard of hearing people and provide a reference for the public through experimental learning. Apart from the implementations for the public, our whole team is also a small inclusive community with both normal hearing and hard of hearing use. As the project manager, I divide the whole group into 3 separate research teams and apply the umbrella management method in this process. Specifically, the Module 1 focuses on the popularization of science on hearing issues for children and youth. Without effective and timely intervention at a young age, there is a great possibility that the young people will face hearing issues. So we will try to empower them as well as their parents and teachers. Based on the survey in preliminary schools, this team will provide professional, vivid, and practical courses. Furthermore, the dissemination of knowledge is just the first step, and we will conduct awareness campaigns in the second session in order to improve the public understanding and awareness of this group. As for group Module 2, we focus on the digital inclusion since the Voicebook is such a company to help the hard of hearing people to communicate. We hope to find the current problems and more possibilities in how the technology will empower the hard of hearing people. Students there will work as experienced officer to study and improve the user experience for the hard of hearing in the daily app usage. Additionally, the Module 3 targets the gender equality issues among the hard of hearing group. This group is studying the current situation of the hard of hearing women, and we will finally demonstrate their real life in the report and videos for the public. Due to the COVID-19, we have to conduct our project online, but this doesn't impede our progress. After the initial recruiting, the first icebreaker and the discussions on the research structure, we are now working on the practical study now. And we are looking forward to our final outputs in October. Furthermore, during this process, our project was also selected as a finalist for the World Back Youth Summit pitch competition. But we won't stop there even after this project is over. The final goal is to make real impacts with our ideas and practice. And I think this is where the meaning of sustainable education lies. Since disability is a global issue, we hope to have more ideas and practices from China and then impact more countries and regions in the world. If you ask me what my ideal world would be like, my answer is an inclusive world with everyone having equal opportunities to participate in society. We hope our efforts could make contributions to the SDGs related to quality education, decent work and economic growth, reduced inequalities, and sustainable cities and communities. Here is our team. Although I can't introduce them one by one today, I think everyone's efforts will definitely leave a footprint for changing this world. Then I'd like to express my thanks to my teachers, Ms. Huani and Dr. Ellen Touchstone. It is their efforts in sustainable education that influenced me a lot. At last, I like to say, although these people can't hear the word, we can connect them to society. So let's start to break down barriers with our efforts. And this is a thank you in Chinese Sign Language. Thanks for listening. 谢谢大家。
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Zinan. And I love the way that you ended with that positive and inspiring note that we should all break down those barriers and we should improve accessibility. So thank you for ending on that lovely, lovely message. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you to each of our 4 guest speakers for showcasing those projects. There was certainly a lot there to be proud of and a lot there to inspire our audience. Speaking of our audience, we will now move on to the open debate section of this session. So if any of our audience members have any questions that have come up during these project showcases, please feel free to send them through the chat and we may ask them if time permits. Now I would like to turn our attention to the topic of global student cooperation and coordination, specifically on how networks such as PGS, global networks, can empower student initiatives on the ground. So I would like to hear from our guest speakers about what they believe their initiatives or their student organizations can gain from engaging in networks such as these. We might start off with Eman, given that you spoke first. Eman, I'm wondering what you think the value of global student cooperation is. What is the potential of that?
Thank you for this opportunity. I believe in human capabilities and humanity to bring a better future. I think today we're facing global challenges, so we need more systematic thinking and we need to work more collectively together. Otherwise, we will never ever solve these problems that we're facing. So starting from local communities, we need to bring smaller groups together, and that's what we're trying to do, where we have student clubs in most of Saudi universities, and with that we have a national existence, then with a national, regional, and then global, because we are one entity and we have a unifying vision stated by the United Nations and so on. So we're there and the future is hopefully bright. We just need to work very hard together.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that answer. And I see our guests are nodding and agreeing with you, Eman. Nathan, given that your experience with Enactus, which, like you said, is already part of an international network, I'm wondering what benefits from your experience there are in being part of that network.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everything that Eman said. I would like to echo that because at the end of the day, I think it is important for everyone to recognize that we are working towards the same common goals. That's why United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 17 is partnerships for the goals. So I think it is super important that we are sharing initiatives, programs, or tools because but yes, because we can accomplish so much together, and what we can accomplish together is so much more than what we can accomplish alone. So I think all of us have our own unique skills and knowledge. And, in Australia, we'll think and do things very differently to other countries. But I think that different perspective and way of thinking is so valuable. And yes, individually, we can still have a positive impact. I encourage everyone to, go about their days with that kind of problem solver mindset. What problems can I identify and how can I solve them? But just imagine if everyone starts working together in bigger and bigger groups, it then becomes a...
I think you've accidentally got on mute there, Nathan.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, I think that's why we're being at a summit like this is so important because it's connecting like-minded students who want to change the world. So I think that's really important, and achieving those United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, like Eman said. So I encourage everyone to look to collaborate on a regional and a global scale. So yeah, I would encourage everyone to use this summit as an opportunity to find other organizations or other people to collaborate with to create impact on a larger scale. So yeah, if anyone would like to collaborate with myself or any of the initiatives that I talked about today, please feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn or afterwards. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer, Nathan. And it's great to see, that we're encouraging and still willing and open to engage in that cooperation and that connection, which is the point of summits like these. Now, Eman, you mentioned how we have to start at the local level, right? We have to start local and then build community and then nationally. And Nathan mentioned as well how when we all work together, we do have that capacity to achieve so much more. Now, Toshiyuki, given those two things, I'm wondering what are some of the challenges that you think might arise when trying to implement global cooperation at a large scale, maybe considering some of your projects that you've been working on? What are some of the difficulties you might encounter?
And when, can you hear me now? I think when collaborating globally, sometimes it's very difficult to reach the consensus among students because we all are born and raised in different societies with different culture, languages, and values. So yes, sometimes these differences may produce disagreement among students. So, but however, by accepting these differences as they are and respecting them, and also communicating with each other, we can hopefully overcome them. Yes, and also I believe, yes, such these differences can sometimes may give birth to new and creative ideas, yes, and unexpected ideas. So yes, yeah. So, and as I said in my presentation, differences is not threats. I think it's benefits. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. I think that's a really important challenge there that you raised in terms of that cross-cultural communication, where, like you said, we all come from very different places. We all have very different, backgrounds and ways of being brought up. But like Eman has said as well, we are all one. We all live on one planet. We're all interconnected. So we do have to find those ways of working together. Now, Zinan, maybe looking at the flip side.
Ask a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
So when you talk about your project, the Star, I think it's a very lovely idea and it's a great initiative. And I think it relates very much with the context of the culture. For us, for example, in Saudi Arabia, we are a very social, like we're socially oriented culture, so it's given that we support each other, like and even the street with strangers, and I think it's very important we look into the local context for any initiative we do. Can you elaborate on how this relates to the culture of Japan or other areas where you implement this? I hope my question was clear.
You mean how our
Did
project?
you like there was a clear need for that? I mean, I loved the idea, but I think, for example, I'm thinking if we implement it in Saudi Arabia, it wouldn't make any sense. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I think Eman's asking there, Toshiyuki, what is it about Japan? What is it about Japan that's so unique that makes your project necessary and so important? So maybe that won't translate to other cultures, but in Japan, can you talk us more about the culture there?
Yes. In Japan, we tends to express those who needs help are required to express their will. I mean, we have maternity mark, for example. This mark represents the need to be helped. Like pregnant women wear the maternity mark, and when we see pregnant women wearing the maternity mark in the train, for example, we need to help them, like give the seat to her. Yes, it's our that is our Japanese like way of thinking, those who need support raise their voices, express.
I Great.
Yes.
To make these connection and encourage others to gently express their needs. Nice. Yeah.
Yes. This is where our project matters. Yes, those who give support, are willing to support, express their willingness, will. So I'm not sure that I can.
That makes perfect sense. We definitely got that one.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Eman, for that follow-up question.
Great.
Now, Zinan, I'm keen to ask you a question just because I'm aware we haven't gotten around to you just yet. So we were talking a little bit about some of the challenges that global student collaboration can pose, especially moving between culture to culture. I'm wondering if you could talk to me a little bit about the flip side of that. Looking at your projects, what do you see as some of the opportunities that can come from global student cooperation?
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I agree to Toshiyuki's idea that the difference is not the stress. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Well, I think the most important one is the mutual understanding. Through the global student collaboration, the geographical and cultural barriers will not exist. And just like in our project, we can't communicate face-to-face due to the COVID-19, but thanks to the technology, we can work online and finish it effectively. I think in this process, the students will find that we are more alike than different. Therefore, the ideas and practices in one country can be transferred to another country, and one project can be scaled to solve the global problems. In my opinion, the young generation can be considered as a community, and the global collaboration will make this community more inclusive. So with this young and inclusive generation, what will our world be like in the future when we grow up to be the main force? I think the answer is clear, and this is what the current global student collaboration will bring about to us. Additionally, yes, it is true that we will also face some either remaining or new problems later, but our young generation will be stronger since we know how to collaborate with others and we know how to solve the problems with our joint efforts. That's all.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Zinan. And look, I agree with you. I think that when we do get together, we will find that there are more similarities than there are differences, like you said. And there may be some tweaking, like Eman was raising, in terms of things that might apply to our culture more than would apply in another culture, but there are still lessons to be learned from that exchange, I think. Well, look, we're almost at the end of our time together. Thank you to all of our guest speakers for coming. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we'll have any time for audience questions, but that's all right. We don't have that many anyway. So before we finish, I would like to ask our speakers to give us one final parting message. In 1, 2, maybe 3 sentences, I would like each of you to summarize what you see as the role of young people and higher education students in the world during the next decade. Eman, would you like to start us off?
Yes. Plant the seeds and forget about them because they'll grow. Sometimes, especially with these kind of initiatives, you might not see the impact right away. But when you connect with others, you see the vibes and the energy. So keep going, and everyone here can make a difference. We're not intelligent or from out the world. We're just like everyone in this venue. We believe in your ability. You can make a change.
Beautifully put, Eman. Thank you for that. That was lovely. Nathan?
Yeah, great words, Eman. I'd like to say that there is no better time to start making impact than now. Don't be waiting for the perfect opportunity because that'll never come. So live a purposeful life from tomorrow onwards and go out and try to be the best person you can be. That's all you can do.
Very, very true, Nathan. I agree with you. Toshiyuki, your thoughts on the role of students and higher education students in the next decade?
Yes, hello. Yes, I sorry. I thought yeah, during the session I thought there is room for collaboration globally, since some of you forecast on like for example Zinan forecast on disabilities, right? And yeah, we also are focusing on disabilities. So yeah, I thought there is room for collaboration. So in the future. So, and as Eman said, we are running toward the same goal. So yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for inviting me today. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Definitely thank you for coming, and agreed, all the same goal. Now, Zinan, final words. Could you please tell us what you see as the role of young people and higher education students in the next decade?
Okay, based on my experiences, I see the hope. I think our young people can give us hope and give the whole world hope to make changes for a better world, for a better future.
Excellent. Yeah, I think hope is a great message to end on, and the desire to get a better future for us, everyone else, and everyone who may come after us as well. So look, our time is just about up. So once again, I want to thank all of our guest speakers, Eman, Nathan, Toshiyuki, and thank you so much for the time that you've given us and your insights. And also thank you to everyone who's watching from all over the world, all the 35 participants that we have in the room right now. I welcome you to join me for the next session, which is a keynote speech in Zoom Room A. As you can see, our secretariat has posted the details in the chat, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful day or evening, depending on where you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Thank you, Diego.
Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
everyone.
day.
Thank you for the meeting. And for our audience, please let's move to Zoom A to join the PGS Talks 4. And we will have a great talks there. So looking forward to meeting you there. Okay, so bye-bye.
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 Bye.